The cave wasn't on any map. That was the first mistake. Ben, Aaron, and Kyle had spent years exploring caves, seeking the untouched, the undiscovered. When they stumbled upon the dark maw of the cavern hidden beneath a tangle of roots in the Appalachian wilderness, they knew they had found something special, something secret. "Jesus," Aaron murmured, peering into the yawning blackness. "It goes deep." Ben flicked on his headlamp. No graffiti, no trash, no signs of any other explorers. This could be the real deal. Kyle grinned, adjusting his harness. "Then let's be the first." Ropes secured, gear checked, they descended into the abyss. The deeper they went, the colder it became. The air smelled damp, with an undercurrent of something rotten. But that didn't stop them. The call of discovery was louder than their instincts. The tunnel walls were smooth, almost unnaturally so, as if something had worn them down over centuries. Strange symbols, crude and primitive, marked the rock in places, scratch-like carvings, resembling claw marks rather than human etchings. "Guys," Aaron called from ahead, "you need to see this." She stood in front of an opening that expanded into a vast chamber. Their headlamps barely pierced the darkness, but what little they could see made their stomachs tighten. Piles of bones littered the floor. Not just animal bones, some were unmistakably human. And then, from the deeper shadows, something moved. A pair of pale, glinting eyes reflected the light. Then, another, and another. The scraping of claws against stone filled the chamber. A low, guttural chattering sound echoed. Something between a monkey's call and a death rattle. Aaron's breath hitched. "We're not alone." Then the creatures stepped forward. They were hunched and gaunt, covered in patchy, matted fur. Their limbs were too long, their fingers tipped with jagged claws. Their eyes, huge, pale, and lidless, glowed in the dim light. Kyle took an instinctive step back. "What the hell are those things?" Ben pulled out his hunting knife, but the gesture felt useless. There were too many. They moved in sync, communicating with rapid clicking noises, their heads twitching like startled birds. Then one lunged. Aaron screamed as she dodged, the creature's claws slicing through the strap of her backpack. She hit the ground hard, scrambling backward. Ben swung his knife at another, but it was too fast. It darted away with inhuman speed, skittering up the walls like a spider. "We need to go," Kyle shouted. He yanked Aaron to her feet and they ran. They tore back through the tunnels, the creatures giving chase. Their chittering grew louder, excited. The tunnels twisted, unfamiliar, as if the cave itself had changed. Their headlamps flickered. Shadows stretched unnaturally. Then Kyle tripped. He hit the ground with a cry, his ankle twisting. Aaron and Ben stopped, turning back. The creatures had surrounded them. A dozen pairs of pale, unblinking eyes. A dozen snarling mouths filled with jagged teeth. Kyle panted, eyes darting around. "Guys?" One of the creatures stepped forward, hunched, its long arms nearly dragging on the stone. It cocked its head, studying them. Then it spoke. Not words, not human, but a mimicry. "Guys?" The voice was Kyle's. Aaron let out a strangled sob. The creature grinned. Then they attacked. Ben didn't remember running. He didn't remember dragging Aaron, half carrying her as she sobbed. All he remembered was the sound. Kyle's screams, cut off too quickly. The chittering, the wet tearing noises, the darkness swallowing everything. They burst out of the cave into the daylight, tumbling onto the forest floor. The sun was blinding. For a long moment, neither moved, just gasping, shaking. Then Aaron turned to him, her face pale, streaked with dirt and tears. "We have to tell someone," she whispered. "We have to—" A sound stopped her. A clicking noise. Low, familiar. From the cave entrance. Ben turned, his blood turning to ice. The shadows shifted, eyes glinted. The creatures were watching, waiting. And then, in Kyle's voice, perfectly, impossibly mimicked, one of them spoke. "Guys?"